I'm Don Folds. Thanks for including me in the second stage of the Pouch Cove Sculpture Garden public art project. The maquette you see is a laser cut and etched small-scale representation of my proposed piece entitled Water Music. The imagery of water music is drawn from a section of musical notation from Handel's Water Music with the fanciful addition of ocean imagery. The staff and musical notation have been transformed to echo the waves and rhythms in the movement of the water, fish, and seaweed. The top section of the staff pictures the musical notes as lines and fishhooks bobbing in the water. The bottom section pictures swimming codfish with the fish eyes placed over the individual notes of the musical notation. As viewers walk along the musical staff, they will also be physically moving with the rhythms of the musical notation and swimming fish. I hope that this interactive aspect of the piece will encourage people to play with the sculpture, moving up and down with the rhythms, looking through the fish eyes or picturing themselves as controlling the fishing lines and hooks. I wanted the artwork to be playful and to take into account a range of potential viewers from children to adults. The finished piece will be 16 feet long and just under 5 feet high. The length of the piece is important, as it will draw people to walk along and sequentially experience the interaction between the musical narration and swimming fish. This height will position most people so that the top section will be within the range of hand and arm movements, so that the notes can feel as if they are being physically touched or moved along with. The participant will look slightly down into the lower fish section, as if looking into the water. The piece will be cut out of sheet metal using a computer-driven plasma cutter, so it will be very strong, durable, and safe. The vertical supports will be sheet metal stiffened with angle iron, and will be finer, stronger, and more in scale with the total piece than the vertical supports on the maquette. The completed sculpture will be painted in blues with brown internal drawing lines within and around all of the forms. This will be done on both sides of the sculpture so that it can be viewed from either side. There will be a small metal base approximately 12 inches by 48 inches attached to each of the vertical supports at either end of the sculpture. They will be placed so that the 48-inch length will be perpendicular to the 16-foot length of the sculpture. The bases will be bolted to small concrete footings set into the ground. I want the concrete footings to be as invisible as possible. I wish to do as little damage as possible to the ground of the chosen site, but we'll have to balance that against my concern that the piece be anchored in a totally secure and safe fashion. The piece itself will be inherently safe, but the installation must take into account the possibilities of what people might do to and with the sculpture. The maquette was etched and cut by a computer-driven laser cutter. The final piece will be cut out using a computer-driven plasma cutter. The maquette was unable to be printed with etched lines on both sides, so is complete only on one side. As well, the maquette is wood, and it does not accurately illustrate how the vertical uprights and base will look. The maquette's base is meant to represent ground, rather than the actual base for the finished sculpture. I hope to find an installation site within the sculpture garden that is relatively flat with a water background. I will visit the garden when I deliver the maquette, and if my proposal is chosen, then I will consult with the Pouch Cove Sculpture Garden Committee so that a suitable site can be agreed upon. Thank you.